Welcome to my February reseller income report. This month was totally wild. As many of you may already know, Poshmark was having some technical difficulties this month. They changed around how they sorted their items on their app, and many people were having low sales days, myself included. I had 3 straight days with no sales on Poshmark, which is unheard of for me. But luckily, the other platforms that I sell on pulled through, and so in the end, it was a great month. I ended up with another record sales month. This is the highest sales month overall that I've ever had since I started reselling. So let's get into it. As always, I'm going to be talking about the highs, the lows, some of the top selling brands of the month, and then we'll end with a deep dive into my overall sales numbers and my final profits. Let's start on a high note, starting with the 7 sales that sold for the most money this month. The first one happened on Mercari, and it was this Michael Kors brown leather monogram handbag. It sold for $133. I paid $57.77 for it, and the final profit was also $57.77. It was listed for 56 days. The reason why the cost of goods and the profit is the same is because this is a consignment item. I've been having several of these Michael Kors handbags show up in these reselling income reports. My cousin gave me a bunch of her stuff to resell for her. It was a bunch of Michael Kors bags. They've all been doing pretty well, selling for over $100. I only have one left, which is one that is a bit more on the plain side. But if I happen to see these handbags out in the thrift store, I definitely would purchase them, even if the price is a little bit high, especially the classic ones that have the brown leather, the cream leather, and the all over monogram pattern. The next high sale happened on Poshmark, and it was this Prada brown distressed nubuck leather boots. They sold for $95. Cost of goods was $6.40. My final profit was $69.60, and these were listed for only 10 days. The actual cost of goods for these boots was more like $25. I do average the cost of goods, so the entire thrift trip, whatever the total was, I'll divide it by the number of items I purchased, and that's the cost of goods I go with, just to keep things simple and make things move a little bit faster, so I'm not sitting there inputting cost of goods for each single item. When I saw these at the thrift store and I saw the price on them, I was kind of hesitating. Should I not pick them up? I was trying to look them up online, and comps were just all over the place. In the end though, when I'm paying up for something like $25, $35, $40, I always ask myself, will I make my money back? Will I at least make my money back? And if the answer is yes, then I go ahead and take the risk. In the end, it could end up being that I just make my money back and nothing more, or it could be that I end up having a high profit sale like this one. So this one definitely was worth the risk of paying up for. The third sale happened on eBay, and it was these pair of Pointer brand men's blue jean overalls. They sold for $65. I paid $6.40 for them. My final profit after shipping and fees, it was $42.88, and they were only listed for 4 days. I actually bought 2 pair of overalls this day that I went to the thrift store, and they both sold really good and really fast as well. So I am definitely going to continue being on the lookout for these vintage looking overalls. Next up, we have a sale on Poshmark. It was these pair of UGG Australia Sylvia mid-calf adjustable snakeskin detailed boots. They sold for $63. I paid $4.80 for them. My final profit was $45.60, and the days listed was 23. So just like the Michael Kors bags, these UGG boots have been showing up recently in my what sold videos because I've been picking up a lot of them. They tend to sell quickly for me and for high profits, well, depending on the style. Now that the colder season is kind of fading itself out, these boots may be selling at a slower rate, but they're also a little bit cheaper at the thrift store since they're out of season. I normally pay $17 for these, but now they're a little bit cheaper at around $7 to $12 depending on where I go. So I'll still continue to pick them up if these boots are in good condition, if they're a great style, and if the price is that low, I'm going to pick them up even though they're going to be selling at a slower rate. Then we have a sale that happened on Mercari. It was this Marmo Gore-Tex windbreaker ski jacket. It sold for $58. I paid $6.40 for this jacket. The final profit was $43.82, and it was listed for only a week. Ski wear does really good, whether it's jackets or pants or boots. I'm not sure if they'll continue to sell when it's like spring and summer, but I think I'll still pick them up if they're in great condition and the price is good. I'm sure that people take trips all over the world throughout the year, so I'll continue to pick this up. I've had Marmo like 4 or 5 other times. It always tends to sell good and in a decent time frame too. The next sale also happened on Mercari, and it was this Barefoot Dreams milk jersey knit midi dress. It sold for $48. I paid $4.80 for this. My final profit was $36.71, and it was listed for 6 days. I aimed high when it came to this dress. I listed it for $70. But on Mercari, I always turn on smart pricing on all my listings, which means that Mercari will slowly drop the price of my items until it reaches a floor price that I set for it. So this is what must have happened with this item. It must have reached the floor price of like $55 or something, and then someone sent me this $48 offer and I accepted it. I may have gotten more for it had I waited it out. Maybe someone would have bought it for more on Poshmark or eBay, but I accepted it for 2 reasons. One is that I'm just in the mindset of moving stuff. If an offer makes sense, if it's going to still leave me a good chunk of change, I'm going to take it. And the second reason I accepted it is because this was in the midst of Poshmark's algorithm change. I hadn't had that many sales, so I just took it to keep things moving. The next sale happened on eBay. It was this Diane von Furstenberg silk blend blouse. It sold for $38. Average cost of goods was $4.80, and my final profit was $36.75, and it took 15 days to sell. So that kind of profit is pretty good for a top. As soon as I saw the brand name on this shirt, it like rang the bell in my brain. I knew that I had heard it somewhere before, and then after I saw the material tag, I saw that it was made of silk. It was just a no-brainer for me to pick up, and it ended up doing really good. The buyer was actually an international buyer, and after shipping and everything, she paid a total of $67.03 for this shirt. The last high sale we'll talk about here happened on eBay, and it was these pair of Doc Marten chunky lace-up vintage sneakers. They sold for $52. I paid $6.40, and the final profit was $36.75, and they took 31 days to sell. These were actually getting a bunch of attention all over all the platforms on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, but no one was buying. And I think the reason was because I aimed too high with these. I originally listed them at $99. Even though the comps weren't showing that, they were showing a lot less than that. I guess I just felt a bit ambitious and thought that maybe I could get away with selling them at a high price. But after seeing that they had a bunch of attention but no one was buying, I decided to go ahead and relist them. I relisted them on eBay, I lowered the price, and I threw in free shipping as well. These were pretty heavy shoes. They weighed over 3 pounds, and so the shipping label was much cheaper purchasing it through Pirate Ship. So that's why I decided to go ahead and offer free shipping. Someone sent me this $52 offer shortly after relisting it, and I went ahead and accepted it because I am just trying to up my game on eBay, accepting all offers that make sense to hopefully get a lot more sales throughout the month over there. But a couple lessons from this sale. One is that these chunky vintage shoes do really well, especially in brands that you may not always think are good, like Skechers, Mud, Tommy Hilfiger. Most of those brands suck in other categories, but when it comes to these Y2K vintage shoes, they're definitely worth looking into when you see them. And the best part is, most of the time, they're underpriced at the thrift store. The second lesson to extract from this sale is that if you have an item that is getting a lot of attention that you think should sell pretty quick but isn't, maybe go ahead and recheck your pricing strategy, redo comps, and see if you can relist it at a little bit of a lower price to get them moving. I mean, it's up to you. You could wait to get the high price sale and wait it out for a little bit longer, but if you want to get things moving a little bit faster, it may be worth rechecking those comps. All right, moving along to some low profit sales. Not all low profit sales are extremely terrible. I mean, the idea is to increase your average sale price and have lots of sales that sell for high amounts, but there are bound to be some low selling sales in that mix. And I share these because I don't want to just show you my highs without showing you my lows, and also just so that you can get a better idea of what you can expect to make from these items that end up in this section, and you can decide for yourself if they're worth listing or not. Starting off with the first low profit sale, it happened on Mercari. It was this young adult fiction novel, Stranger Things, The Rebel Robin. It sold for $12. I paid $0 for this. Profit was $6.33, and it took 6 days to sell. When I'm kind of low on inventory and I don't have much to list, I will go around my home and kind of declutter and see what I can find that we no longer use that I can put up for sale. This was one of those. This was a book that my daughter no longer read, so all of it was just pure profit. And in my experience, non-clothing items like books, decor, or anything else sells better on Mercari and on eBay. I recently made a video sharing all my Mercari tips that I have learned over the years. I'll link it in a card up above if you want to go check it out. But to move this book faster, one of the things I did was offered free shipping. On Mercari, they do not offer media mail labels. Media mail labels are used for books and educational material, and they're a lot cheaper. So I went on to Pirate Ship, created the label there, which only cost $3.82, and that's how I was able to offer free shipping and still have a decent profit after it all. Next sale happened on Poshmark. It was these pair of Guess Slim straight fit men's blue jeans. They sold for $12. Again, $0 cost of goods because they were from around my house. Profit was $9.05. I preferably like things to sell under 90 days. This was hitting that danger territory that I don't like to go into. But I went ahead and sent out a message to this liker. It was a closet clear out day. I told him that I could lower the price to $12 if he'd like to purchase, and he would receive discounted shipping if he did. He was excited about it, was like, yes, definitely. So I went ahead and lowered the price and he purchased it. And he left me a sweet love note as well. He was so thankful that I had pursued the sale, that I had made him aware of the closet clear out deal. He said the jeans fit perfect and he wouldn't have bought them if I wouldn't have made the effort to go out and reach out to him. So there you go. Don't be afraid to pursue sales. Message people, interact with people, communicate with them, let them know about sales. It's a win-win. They get a great deal and you get more sales. The next low profit sale happened on Mercari. It was this Madden Girl quilted puffer full zip vest. It sold for $13. I paid $9.65 for this, and the final profit was $1.37. It was listed for 83 days. Madden Girl is not always terrible, but the piece has to be extra special in order for it to be worth something. The cost of goods for this vest was high because it came from a Jamar wholesale box. And that's the biggest con with these wholesale boxes that you order online, is that you don't get to pick and choose what you get. For me, that's the biggest drag, to get things that I wouldn't normally pick up and then I'm stuck listing them anyway because I need to make my money back. And I personally just don't like listing things that I'm not excited about, things that I actually picked out that I'm excited to list. The next low profit sale happened on eBay, and it was this self-help book, How to Break Up with Your Phone, the 30-day plan to take back your life. It sold for $8.99. I paid $0 for this because it was a personal book that I read and used and just was done with. The profit was $7.90, and it sold in 161 days. Thankfully, eBay does offer the media mail label option, and so the shipping was a little bit lower than it normally would have been had I shipped via first class. So that kind of left a little bit of room for profit. And I like to highlight my books like crazy, so this had writing all over it. So I'm content with what it sold for and the profit it left, being that it was a used book that had a lot of writing. The next sale happened on Poshmark. It was this J. Crew lamb's wool navy blue cable knit pull over fisherman sweater. It sold for $15. I paid $6.18 for this sweater. My final profit was $5.82, and it was listed for 57 days. I thought this was a super cute sweater when I picked it up, and maybe if I would have held on to it for a little bit longer, I could have gotten more for it, but maybe it could have stuck around till December or November towards the end of the year. I just didn't want to take the chance, so when I received this $15 offer, or actually I think I sent her this offer with discounted shipping, I'm not sure, but I'm getting rid of all the jackets and sweaters that I possibly can because I have a small space. I need to make room for other newer things, and if I'm not going to lose money and the profit is still kind of decent, I'm just taking the money. The actual cost of goods for this must have been more like $2, so in the end, it wasn't too terrible. The next sale was on Poshmark. It was these helmet length black dress pants. They sold for $15. I paid $5.88 for them. The final profit was $12, and they were listed for 83 days. When I saw these pair of pants and I saw the brand at the thrift store, I got super excited. The brand just sounded expensive to me, and it sounded like I heard it somewhere before, but it disappointed. But I guess it's like a lot of other brands. There's certain styles within that brand that are going to do excellent, and others that aren't so much. When I look at this brand on Poshmark, on like its brand page, you can see that a lot of the items are listed for $80, $90, over $100, but there's a lot of them that are also listed for low amounts, like $18, $20, and even $30. That's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over these past 2 to 3 years that I've been reselling. It's not always about the brand. Style and just what's trending at the moment has a lot to do with it. Some brands, the older styles, if they're super old, they're considered vintage and rare, and they're worth hundreds. Other brands, if the style is old, it's considered outdated and it's just not that desirable and not worth that much. Next low profit sale happened on Poshmark. It was these collusion, I don't know if I'm saying that right, plus size mom jeans acid wash denim. They sold for $16. I paid $5.20 for them, and my final profit was $5.14. They were listed for 43 days. I picked these jeans up at a Plato's Closet during a clearance sale where everything is 70% off. I picked them up because I liked the style. They were plus size. I thought they would do great. When I brought them home, I noticed that they had a little bit more wear than I initially saw down by the hem of the legs. And so that's why they sold for this low amount. And also this collusion brand is an ASOS brand that turns out doesn't do that well. Next one, and the last one on the low profit list, is this Victoria's Secret pink college Iowa University Sherpa sweater. It sold for $16. I paid $6.48 for this. The final profit was $6.32, and it was listed for a total of 67 days. I've never really had that much luck with this pink Victoria's Secret brand, but but I did think this sweater would do good. I listed it for high for about $40. After I saw that it wasn't getting that much attention, not that many likes anywhere, I slowly started dropping the price. On a closet clear out day, I sent this liker a message. I told her that I could do $27 with $4.99 discounted shipping that Poshmark would pay for. She said, no, you know what, I will pass. I want to stay within $20 total, shipping included. And because again, I'm trying to get rid of older sweaters and just clearing out all the things that are soon going to be out of season, I decided to accept that. I told her I could do $16 and the $4.99 shipping that would be paid by Poshmark. She said, let's do it, and so I dropped the price and she bought this sweater. But now let's move on to some sales that sold pretty quickly. The first one was on, where was this? This was on Poshmark. It was some tactical performance slip resistant lace-up boots. They sold for $25. I paid $6.86 average cost of goods, and the final profit was $13.14. And these were listed for 0 days. They sold within hours of listing them. I picked these up solely based on style. I love picking up high quality combat style boots. I saw they were slip resistant and more like work safety boots, and I know those can do well, so that's why I picked these up. I listed them at $38, expecting to get somewhere between $28 and $30, but when someone sent me this $25 offer, I thought it's not too far off from what I expected to get from them, so I went ahead and accepted it for the quick flip. The next one happened on Poshmark as well. It was these pair of Clark's unstructured beeswax leather Mary Jane brown leather shoes. They sold for a total of $37. I paid $6.86 for these shoes, and the final profit was $20.06. Again, they sold within hours of listing. I took a long time creating this listing because I could not find any information on it. I was seeing shoes just like this one. They were listed though as Clark's Artisan and with the style name Janie June. The ones I had were Clark Unstructured, and I couldn't find any with the line Clark Unstructured with the style name Janie June. But apparently that style is super popular, and the comps range anywhere from $40 to $45, sometimes like $70 and up when they were new with box. But I didn't want to name mine something that they weren't, so what I did was just created the best title I could, and in the tags portion of my description, I input that style name Janie June. I also listed a little bit below comps just to get these shoes moving, and sure enough, that got the job done because someone bought them pretty quickly. Next fast sale also happened on Poshmark. It was these pair of Good American flare jeans. They were high rise with a trouser hem, whatever that means. The hem part did have like a wide panel at the bottom. I guess that's what that means. They sold for $48. Cost of goods was $6.40, but the actual cost of goods was more like $2. I profited $32 in the end, and they sold in 1 day. This was my first time picking up this brand. I obviously knew about it because I've heard it all over, resellers talking about it. So fingers crossed that I find more of this brand because it did not disappoint at all. The next fast sale happened on Mercari this time. It was these Burton Dry Ride skiing, snowboarding snow pants. They sold for $37. I paid $4.80. Final profit was $27.13, and they were only listed for 1 day. I actually regretted picking up these pants initially because when I brought them home, they were white, and then under all the lights, it just looked a bit dingy, especially like in the rear end. But I decided to list them anyway, and they instantly got lots of attention on Poshmark and Mercari. I listed them one evening, and then the following day, early in the morning, someone sent me an offer on Mercari for $37. And as soon as I accepted that offer, like not even seconds later, someone bought them on Poshmark. they happen within seconds of each other. That's never happened to me before. Usually I'm pretty good at delisting things quickly when something sells on one platform, because I hate canceling things, and on Mercari and eBay that really does affect your account. But they didn't even give me a chance to delist because it happened so fast. In the end, I ended up canceling the order on Poshmark because I've made so many sales there. I feel like canceling one order will have the least effect than it would over on Mercari. Moving along though, the next sale happened on eBay. It was these pair of Lily Pulitzer Worth Skinny black pants. They sold for $38. I paid $4.80. The final profit was $21.52, and they were only listed for 1 day. I don't come across this brand very much, but when I do, it's almost always priced really low, and so if it's in good condition, I'm picking it up. Thrift stores don't know about it, so most of the time I can get it for like a couple dollars, and it hasn't disappointed yet, so I'll continue to pick up this brand when I see it. Number 6 on the list that sold really quick was these Fry Izzy belted distressed leather boots. They sold for $75. I paid $3.15 for these. The final profit there was $49.40, and they were listed for 2 days. These were so cheap because I got them at a Goodwill bins. The Goodwill bins is like a Goodwill outlet where you pay by the pound. I've always wanted to try going to one of these, but I just never got the courage to do it. I've Googled it before, and it said that the closest one to me was about 45 minutes away. I live in Mesquite, Texas, and this one was in Fort Worth, Texas. But recently, I don't even know how, I think I was just searching online for thrift stores that I could try out, and I came across a Goodwill bins in Dallas. I never knew there was one this close to me. This one is about 20 to 25 minutes away, and so I finally decided to go ahead and go try it. It didn't end up going extremely well. I only found 7 items that day, but they were all good items, and some of them have sold for high amounts like this one. Maybe I just went on a day where it wasn't that many good things, so I am excited to go back and try it again. Number 7 and last fast selling item happened on eBay. It was these Oakley Racing Division Carbon X black suede lace-up sneakers. They sold for $75. I paid $6.86. The final profit there was $66.53, and they sold in 2 days. I actually recorded a shoe haul that these shoes were a part of. That was a great haul. I had lots of boots and sandals and sneakers, and in that haul I mentioned that I like picking up shoes that are for a special activity, so like racing shoes, skiing shoes, snow boots, football shoes. Anything that's for a specific sport is really worth looking into because they aren't as flooded in the marketplaces by other resellers, and most of the time people need them at that moment, so they're willing to pay up for them. These shoes right here were for race car drivers, and they were fire retardant, I think that's what you call it, and they also just felt and looked like a high quality sneaker, so that's why I decided to pick them up, and they ended up doing really good. Okay, now we're going to move on to 7 sales that took a long time to sell. As I always say, if a sale is going to take a long time, then it better be worth it. The profit better be decent. Some of these in this section were and some weren't. The first one we're going to talk about happened on eBay, and it was this Anthropology Moth Wool Blend Cardigan Sweater. It sold for $20. I paid $5.88 for this, and the final profit was $13.28. It was listed for 105 days. This was listed during a hard time in my life. I was in a hurry. I was at a hospital. I was doing it on my phone. I don't normally list on my phone. And so my title and my description just weren't that good. And so when I saw that it wasn't selling, I went ahead and relisted the item, and it sold shortly after. So if you have items that have been sitting for a long time, go ahead and try relisting, but don't just copy and paste everything. See if you can improve things. The title, maybe you didn't find a stock photo before, but now you can. Maybe you've learned new keywords. and also go ahead and recheck comps. Maybe you can lower the price a little bit to get it moving. Next sale that took a long time were these American Eagle super high rise jeggings. They sold on Poshmark for $22. I paid $4.10. The profit was $10.82, and they were listed for a total of 139 days. Is it just me, or are American Eagle jeans performing a lot worse? I have all sorts of sizes and fits and styles, and all of them are taking a really long time to sell, and they're not selling for as much as they used to. So nowadays when I go to thrift stores, I pretty much skip most of the American Eagle jeans I see. It has to be something like extra special and a larger size for me to even consider it. Next sale happened on eBay. It was this handmade Mexico Village scene pottery wall decor. It sold for $34. I paid $0 for it. The final profit here was $27.06, and they were listed for 150 days. My mom used to own a Mexican restaurant, so she has all sorts of decor and things that she had in that restaurant, and I list some of them from time to time. It ends up doing good, but they do take a long time to sell. And these kind of things like decors, picture frames, and all of that is my least favorite thing to list. Mainly because I don't know anything about it. I don't know what to call things. I don't know the materials, how to talk about the specs and what it looks like and things like that. It takes me too long to list them, but I should probably go see what else is out there in the shed where I have everything stored, to see what else I can list, because sometimes it does okay. But moving along, the fourth one that took too long to sell was this Torrid Black Skull Flame Sports Bra. It sold for $29. I paid $7.64 for this, and the final profit was $15.56. The days listed was 161. A while back, I did source a bunch of stuff from the Torrid site, so new with tag stuff. And a lot of it has been selling slowly, some of it for high profit and some of it for not that much. I learned a lot from this experience, and I do look forward to sourcing from the site again and trying again with all the lessons that I have learned. This one was not a terrible profit sale, but it would have been better had it sold a bit faster. The next one happened on eBay, and it was this new with tags Athleta Gaite floral embroidered baby doll dress. It sold for $17. I paid $4.66 for it, and the final profit was $165. It was listed for 214 days. Now this is the definition of a straight up bad sale. Took too long to sell, and the final profit was definitely not worth it. I listed this dress long ago, and I recently relisted it. I didn't know that this brand was made by Athleta, but after doing a little bit of research, I saw many people were saying that it was, so I went ahead and added that to the title. Shortly after relisting it, someone sent me the $17 offer. I quickly accepted it because I knew that I've had it for so long, but I didn't realize at the moment that I had also included free shipping. So I ended up stuck with that expense, and that's why the profit is so low. Had the buyer paid for shipping instead, it wouldn't have been that terrible. But lately that I've been relisting so much stuff on Mercari and on eBay, sometimes if the item doesn't weigh that much, I'll go ahead and throw in free shipping in there just to get these items moving faster. But since I'm not used to it because I've always charged for shipping, I sometimes forget to take that into consideration. But this sale definitely woke me up. I'm going to be a lot more careful moving forward when I'm sending out offers and when I receive offers, to always look at if I'm paying for shipping or are they. But moving along, number 6 happened on Poshmark. It was these big star embroidered cutoff fray blue jeans. They sold for $19. I paid $2 for these, and the final profit was $10.74. They were listed for 278 days. In the past, I would take the time to add in the cost of goods for each individual item. Now I don't do that, but this was so long ago that I still did at that time. This isn't a terrible brand to pick up, but smaller sizes do move slower. This was a size 25, and it was sitting all throughout the winter, so it only made sense that it moves now. but I will still continue looking out for this brand Big Star, but maybe focus more on jeans, the heavily embroidered, really Western jeans, and maybe larger sizes too. The last slow moving sale that we'll talk about are these Calvin Klein blue jean shorts with a rolled hem. They sold for $18. I paid $2.50 and my final profit was $12.88. They were listed for 295 days. Again, another sale made possible by relisting the item, and again, a sale that was so long ago that I was still keeping track of actual cost of goods. And lastly, Calvin Klein is a terrible brand to pick up. It never does well in any category for me. Maybe the only thing I'd consider would be like thick outerwear come winter season. Now let me just quickly go over 3 of the top selling brands for the month of February. A lot of these end up being the same month after month. I honestly don't know what to do with this section of the video anymore. I used to do the kind of categories that did best, like jeans, shorts, skirts. In the end, it ends up being quite repetitive. So you let me know if this part of the video is helpful to you or not, but I will quickly tell you. My first best-selling brand, should be of no surprise to you, was Clark's. I sold a total of 10 Clark shoes in the month of February. The average selling price was $29.83. I sold a lot of loafers, mid-calf, ankle, and knee-high boots from this brand this month. The second best-selling brand should also be of no surprise, and that is Torrid. I sold a total of 6 Torrid items for an average selling price of $25.33. These were mostly dresses, but some of them were shoes, and I think I had 1 sweater that sold. The next brand is new to this category though, and that is NYDJ, which stands for Not Your Daughter's Jeans. I sold a total of 4 NYDJ jeans for an average selling price of $23. I used to skip this brand all the time. I just thought it was like this Ross brand that I'd seen in the past. I thought it was worthless. I never just gave it second thought. Then one day I heard a reseller mention it. I'm pretty sure it was Lori Tata. She mentioned this brand in one of her videos, and then after that I've been picking it up every time I see it, and it always ends up selling for a good amount. And sometimes it takes a little bit to sell, but sometimes, especially the higher sizes, sell pretty quickly. Now let's discuss the final numbers for this month. The total sales were $4,646, which is a record-breaking month once again. And what's also exciting is that it happened on a short month. We only had 28 days this month. Had it been 31, maybe I could have gotten a little bit closer to the 5,000. So that's super exciting. I'm excited to see what happens next month. The earnings, what was actually deposited into my bank after platform fees and shipping discounts, was $3,535. The cost of goods for everything that sold this month was $866. The overall cost of goods is actually a little bit lower than the previous months, and I think that's because I've been listing personal things from around my home, and obviously those have a $0 cost of goods, which brings the overall average down. When we break the sales number down by platform, on Poshmark I sold 2,324, which is pretty average. It's pretty consistent with what it's been in the past months. What's not normal though is that on eBay, the total sales numbers for February was $1,202. Normally it's in the like $500 to $600 range. I've never reached $1,000 in sales on eBay, and I'm super excited that I finally did. And I think it's because I've been trying to be a lot more active over there. I've been relisting stuff very often, and I'm dropping prices daily. And also just recently I reached top rated seller status on eBay. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Hopefully sales continue to go up and up over there. Mercari, on the other hand, did drop a little bit by like $300 or so. I sold a total of $1,120 in the month of February, which is still not bad. As long as Mercari stays in the thousands, and if Poshmark stays in the 2000s, and if I can get Mercari, or not Mercari, eBay up to the 2000s as well, I'll be content. Now let's look at some of the work that went on behind the scenes. I listed a total of 137 items. That's an average of about 4 to 5 listings a day, which is actually a drop from last month. Last month I listed 200 items, so it's quite a significant drop. And that is because I kind of took it slow this month. I kind of took a break from sourcing for a whole week as well. And that is because I was just kind of feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all this stuff in my home. So what I did was reorganize my inventory, redid my inventory system, looked over my entire spreadsheet, made sure that everything was listed on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay, and I found a lot of mistakes. A lot of things that I thought were listed on a certain platform weren't. Things that were sold were still listed on some platforms. So I'm glad I took the time to redo my whole inventory and just look over things, because now I feel a lot more comfortable going out and bringing in more things into my home, as opposed to keep bringing things in when everything is not even in order here. The total items sold were 141. That is an average of 5 sales a day. Being that I didn't list much and that I did have 3 no sales days on Poshmark, that's crazy to me how I ended up getting 5 sales a day on average. After the whole Poshmark algorithm thing got settled and it changed back to being sorted by just shared, I did get a flood of sales, sometimes up to 10 sales a day over on Poshmark. So that helped a lot, and also that I just stood my ground when that was happening. I continued being consistent. I continued listing and relisting, lowering prices, sending out messages during closet clear out. So all of that helped a lot to keep my sales up. The average sales price for all the items I sold this month was $33.19. which is good. That's where I want it to be at, and that's where I want to hopefully keep it at moving forward. The average cost of goods for everything that sold was $6.19. Lately, the average cost of goods for the month had been like $7.50. Sometimes above $8. But as I said, this month I think it went down because of all the things that I've been listing that are essentially zero cost of goods. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you find value in these what sold videos. If you do, let me know down in the comments below. I'll leave a playlist right here filled with more monthly reselling income reports. And that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.